Hi everybody, this is Jen from Cookies, Cupcakes, and Cardio.com. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make cake pops, and they are going to be in the shape of a margarita glass. So, strawberry margarita, lime margarita, I hope you enjoyed them. Let's get started. So to make the margarita cake pops, you're going to need cake crumbs. Now these come from scraps that I've saved after leveling cakes. You can also use just a regular cake that you have baked and just crumble it all up. You're going to need a couple tablespoons of buttercream. You can use any flavor combination that you want to. Now for the margarita cake pops, I'm going to be making strawberry ones, so I'm using red melting wafers. And I'm going to be making lime ones, so I'm using a combination of white, yellow, and a little bit of green to make more of a limey look. I'm going to be using 6-inch cake pop sticks or lollipop sticks, and I'm going to be using some white sanding sugar. And I found these cute little limes at the bulk barn in Canada here, and I'm just going to be putting those on top as a decoration. So that's what we need, so let's get going. So the first thing that we want to do is to make our cake pop base by using the buttercream and the crumbs. So I'm just going to put a couple tablespoons of the buttercream into the crumb mixture. And then using my hands, I'm just going to mix it all up. And when I've got it mixed up, I'll be back to show you the consistency that you're going to want for the cake pop base. So I've mixed the icing into the cake crumbs, and you should be able to form a ball or any sort of shape without it cracking. If you have cracks in it, you want to add a little bit more buttercream at the time. Now this is perfect and ready to go. So what I'm going to use is just a regular size scoop. This is a medium scoop. I'm going to fill it up, and I'm just using a scoop because I like consistency in the sizing of the pops. And then I'm going to roll it. And then pressing it onto my parchment paper, I'm just going to kind of work my fingers down and press it to make a nice sharp line where the brim of the cup the margarita glass would be. And then I'm just going to kind of bring it up to make the bottom part of the margarita glass. So it's almost like the shape of a cone. Then I'm going to roll it just to kind of accent that shape. So I'm going to do all of these ones up, and then I'm going to pop them in the fridge. And I'm going to let them cool, and then I'll be back after they've been in the fridge for about 5 minutes. Okay, so what I've done is I have taken my melting wafers in the solid state that you see here with the red ones, and I've put them into the microwave for 30-second intervals. After each 30 seconds, I have stirred the bowl and tried to get the melting wafers to melt. And once you get the consistency that it's runny, that is the perfect consistency for dipping your cake pops. So the first thing that we do with our melted chocolate is we take one of our cake pop sticks, and we're just going to dip the end just about 1 or 2 centimeters into the end here, and then let it drip off a little bit. And then I'm just going to put it straight up and down into the top of my cake pop. So I'm going to do this with the green ones, and then I will repeat the process with the red, and I will melt the red chocolate. And then I'm going to put the whole entire tray into the freezer for about 5 minutes, because you want to make sure that this chocolate on the stick solidifies to the cake pop to make sure it doesn't come off when we do the next step. So after I'm done that, I will be back with the chilled cake pops. So what we're going to do with our cake pop once the stick is solidified in the inside is we're going to dip it into our melted chocolate. So once it's covered entirely, I'm just going to turn it and just give it a little tap as I go around. And this is just going to get all the excess chocolate off, and will also help it from dripping down the stick. If it does end up dripping off the stick, once it's dry, you can just pick it off. So it's not really that big of a deal, but it just makes a nice smooth cake pop. So once I've got the chocolate off of here, I'm just going to set it beside my green ones here in order to dry. And I'll go through and do all of my cake pops, and then I'll be back to show you the next step. And to dry, they're going to probably take about 10 minutes. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to make the base of the margarita glass using one of the chocolate wafers. So what I've done is just use the sharp tip of a barbecue skewer. This is made out of bamboo. You could use a metal one or any sort of sharp thing that you can use in order to put a hole through the middle of the wafer. So I'm just going to put the sharp end here in the middle, and just by twisting, I'm just going to work myself a little hole. And then once I get down, I just want to lift it up. Now if you press too hard, you're going to break them. I've broken plenty, but if you just keep twisting and gently just working your way through. And then I found if you just flip it over and work from this end, it gives you a little bit better of a hole there without having to press so hard. So once you've got your hole there, just set that off to the side, and that is ready to go for the base. So I'll be back to show you the next step. So what we're going to do next is we're going to attach the bottom wafer, the wafer onto the bottom to make the base of the margarita glass. So I'm just sliding it up here, and I'm going to put it about 1.5 inches from the bottom of the cake pop. Now, using some more chocolate, I'm just going to coat the stick to make sure there's no more white lollipop stick left. You don't need too much, you just want to make sure it's covered. And then the important thing at this point is to make sure you get some of the chocolate on the stick onto the wafer. So I'm just going to wind the wafer up into that chocolate and then pull it back down. So then it's stuck there. So I'm just going to put that off to dry, and the green ones are a little bit different, so I'll be back to show you how to do the green ones. So doing the green cake pop is a little bit different than the red one because I made this color of green. Now if you're using just one color, just like we did with the red one, you can just do the exact same process as the red. But just like we started off the red, I'm winding up a white wafer right to about 1.5 inches or 1 inch from the top there. Just gonna coat my my lollipop stick here. And then what I need to do is I want to cover the wafer with the matching green color. So I'm just using a paintbrush to go over all that. And once it's covered, just set it off to dry, and you've made sure that the wafer is going to stick to the rest of the stem here. Push it up, pull it back a little bit, and then you're good to go, just to let it set off to the side to dry. So what's a margarita without a salted rim? Our next step is to use the paintbrush again, or you could use a toothpick, and I'm just going to draw a little line of chocolate right where the rim of the glass is, or would be. And then I'm going to dip it in the sanding sugar, which is meant to look like the margarita salt. So just going to dip it in there. And any of the parts that just went over a little bit, while it's still wet, just push it up and we'll make it nice and perfect. Just like that. Set it off to dry. The green and the red are done the exact same way that way. So the final step for our margarita cake pops is to attach our candied lime onto the top. So I'm just taking a little bit of the chocolate, just dabbing it on where I want to put the lime, and then I'm just going to place the lime on it, and I'm just going to hold it there for a couple seconds to make sure it anchors right to the spot. So there we go. So I'm just going to finish off decorating all the cake pops with the limes, and then I'll be back to show you the final product for the end of the video. So there we have it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial on how to make margarita cake pops. We've got strawberry, we used red, and we made some lime cake pops here with a combination of white, green, and yellow. So if you liked what you saw, remember to give it a thumbs up, share it with all your friends, and you can find us on Google+, Facebook, and Twitter. See you next time.